Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Just Average People podcast. And I've got my friend Adhiraj Banerjee, who I've known for 13 years roughly.
Yes,
College.
it's been a long time. So yeah,
About 13 years.
most likely something like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy number like that.
In the summer, he'll be 13 years. Okay, so you want to do an introduction for yourself? Actually, before you do, I'd say out of, that little circle of friends, me, you, Lee, and Steve, you're the one
You
who
nearly forgot Steve.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you, me, Lee, and Lee. Yeah, you, me, Lee, and Steve. You're the one who, if I had to explain what they did as a job, I'll probably struggle the most with.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Okay. So like my job is the job title is a professional engineering programs officer. So I actually work in a university, and I know I deal with students which are different from everyone else. They're work-based programs, so all my students are already working.
okay.
Like, so for example, like I have students which have been in the industry for 10, 15 years. I have previously had some directors of very large like banks and things. So it's like we have like lost a lot of experienced students who might have not got a degree or might not be like fully experienced in a certain field,
Okay.
which go through it. But the best part of the thing is that normal students, you have to get loan and you're going to be in huge debt by the end. But our students pretty much are funded by their companies, so it's pretty much you're getting a degree and training for free. So I do have a lot of students which are just from A levels. So not everybody is like being in the industry for things. So
Yeah.
I have other things like foundation degrees which they just finished the A levels and going to uni. So like for example, like I work with a lot of the energy companies, and they just get students which have A levels, and then they go straight into apprenticeships. So, and the best thing about this is these students in 3 years or 2 years get a degree, and they have a job at the end. So all of them get pretty much a job.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much guaranteed a job, and they get their tuition paid by the company. Like, that's like, why not?
Oh, yeah,
Like
why not?
so that's pretty much my role. So my main responsibility is to make sure I manage those programs very well. So the day-to-day running of the program, make sure that the lecturers have everything, make sure that the companies are happy. So one of my biggest role is to make sure that the companies are happy.
You kind of you go to the company.
Yeah. So
you used to.
yeah. Now we do. To be fair, when I look back, it's like I used to go to some of the companies and think it's like, do you really need to like with the like
It was a tick. It was a boxer.
yeah, but at the same time, sometimes it's better to have a face-to-face connection. I think it's good to have a face-to-face connection for the first few times, like especially if it's a new company.
Yeah.
So also you can always like treat them, because if you go to theirs and they come to us, you always get some nice food like set up. So it's a nice like hey, welcome and things. So
Yeah.
um, so and also like some of the factories and things I went to, like some of the companies I went to, like their places are quite cool. So like yeah, I don't mind going there. I don't really want to name exactly the
That's fine.
companies, but like
What sort of industries kind of?
so like aerospace and things, and you can see like there was some nice very like they actually had like a museum of what they've created in the past, and they took us. Yeah, so like it's quite good. So it's like so that's one of the main difference. So I mainly work with work-based programs, so that's the main thing.
Have you ever been given any sort of souvenirs for one of the companies you've gone to? Let's say, I'm not saying the aerospace one specifically, but somewhere like that where they might give you some model, or just something. Have you ever been given anything like that?
Well, they've taken me out for food things, but
That's
like
nice.
in terms of souvenirs and things, like not necessarily. Like no, we didn't really give it. They normally, like if I go to theirs, they buy me lunch, or if we come if they come to us, we buy them lunch. It's like but there's not really any gift giving I can remember. So don't but we do like treat them like nicely. So especially we have actually, our university actually has like a 4-star hotel and restaurant.
Okay.
So we take them there. So it's a very nice food. So
Individually or like a bunch of the different companies?
Individually sometimes when they come over.
Yeah.
But if it's like bunch, a lot of them, so then, or bunch, then we normally give get like catering platter. So
Yeah.
like the whole thing. So thing is, and our catering platter is quite nice. Like we get a variety of food. Um, to be fair, like I'm pretty sure like the catering and those type of catering and the hotel side of the university has been affected quite badly by the
Oh, yeah.
COVID situation. So like I don't know what will happen in the future, but that's what we used to do in the past. So
Yeah.
because like we weirdly, this is something really weirdly. Sometimes we actually got the catering from outside,
Okay.
outside from a foreign company because it was slightly cheap.
Okay.
So like when we could easily do it ourselves, but
Oh,
like
yeah. If you can save money, you save money.
yeah. So however, like so that's how. So we do like to make sure that the companies are happy, because like some of these companies we have a relationship for like 10, 15 years, and for 10, 15 years that's a long relationship. So um, and different companies are differently, so some which we have different contracts with each company. So like we treat them as different
Yeah.
individuals, and yeah, just to make sure that and make sure that, and they actually it you think that it's actually not as easy as you think, degree apprenticeships. 'Cause you would say that degree apprenticeship is as fun as a normal student, university students. You get a lot of breaks.
Yeah.
Normal university students, you have maybe not a day, you have no lessons, or you have a few hours, not
Usually,
lessons. So there's a lot of gaps in there. So in
Yeah.
those gaps, you can party, you can go crazy,
or
whatever.
We'll do whatever. Like whatever you like to. Like, because I remember how it was when I was there. Like, I think each year I got 2 days off.
Yeah. So like that's the thing. It's like, but with degree apprenticeships, you're working. So you're not, it's not like you're just doing starting. You're actually working in the
Yeah.
company, in the base. But that's a really good thing, because you're actually getting practical physical experience, like
Yeah.
in the thing. So it's not just theoretical, or it's not just like teaching wise. You're
Yeah.
actually getting to use things what you think. So so normally this, like sometimes the student comes in blocks. So like 2 weeks, or like every few a month, so like maybe it's 8 weeks a year, like full those 2 weeks fully booked, because the companies don't want to wait. Companies paying for your hotel, companies paying for your, like actually losing you from your work.
Yeah.
So they want as much studying as packed in there as well. So you have to do that, and then when you go back to work, you have to do your coursework, you have to do your exams, like to prepare for your exam. So there's much less free time. So it's not, so the students don't have as much like partying and things. So and with COVID, they didn't as much have online, so it went more online.
Yeah.
So so that's what happened, and it's it it's quite, it's, I would say it's quite intense. And some of the companies, like I would say some of the companies are more engaged. Like some of the companies want to know everything about you. Like some of the companies will be like, make sure that the attendants are there every week. Some of the companies,
Yeah.
and other companies won't mind. It's like, you're an adult.
As long as you get
the grades.
grade, yeah.
And
Is it the same? Is it literally the same sort of degree though? Same qualification, same first 2-1, or is there something different
No.
about it?
So the only difference is, if you go for degree apprenticeship version,
Yeah.
is paid by the levy system, which is like a government. So maybe it's a good idea to explain what a levy system is.
Yeah.
So every large company has to put like 5% of their 5% of their budget into training.
Okay.
But that's government like regulation.
Minimum 5%. Yeah.
Minimum 5%.
What do you know? What constitutes as a large company? Is it revenue, and how much revenue is that? If it is revenue.
Yeah. For like for a year, I used to work with degree apprenticeship, but for a year I've been just work based. So I think you have to earn your payroll has to be higher than a set amount, maybe 100,000 or something like.
Okay, so not super high.
Not super high. It's
so potentially a business run by 2 or 3 people could possibly
I
cross
just
that
I
barrier.
just need to look at it because I haven't looked at it for a while. So it's a certain level. It might not be 100,000. It might be 1 million. I can't remember
Okay.
exactly, but it is related to your payroll. So so how much you're paying. So if your payroll amount is a certain level,
Okay.
at least 5% of that has to be put into.
Training.
Like there's a so each of these companies all of these big companies have to get this money, put this into a thing.
Is
So
it a government scheme they put
your
it in?
government scheme. So
And
what?
so they don't hold that money. The government has it up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, there's a catch. So it goes in, and then you have like 2 years to spend it on training.
Ah.
If you don't spend it, the government will take it.
It's not just go part of their budget then.
Yeah. So it's living like a training tax.
Yeah.
So
It forces you
forces you to.
because if let's say you put 1 million into there, if you're a pretty big company, obviously you have to be if you sell 5%. You don't want that to go to waste. So you just send as many people on training or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm guessing it's not just sending people on training. It could be getting training material for your employees, like books or whatever.
Yeah. So like for example, it's not just has to be university. It could be colleges. You could send it to colleges, schools, any training. It has to be spent on training, and it has to be monitored.
Yeah.
So you have to see they've done this many hours and things like that.
I'm guessing a place like let's say McDonald's that obviously attracts people that are less educated. I'm guessing they could potentially send people back to school and get like a GCSE, for example.
Yeah, and it has to be everybody. Like every big company has to do it. So I know there's one company which is actually really good at spending. It's Virgin. Virgin spends a good amount of their money. So while there's other companies, big companies which maybe spend like 5%. So pretty much like 95% is taken by the government.
5% of the 5%.
But so they only spend so if they got like 5% they put away.
Yeah.
Out of that amount, they only spend like 5% of that, and then the government just takes it because some companies are like, oh, it's just another tax.
Yeah.
So
if they're big enough and they're very profitable, they're like instead of managing that training system, it's just easy if we don't do it. Yeah. Or at least that's what's going through their head.
But other companies are much more active and want to spend as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that's and other companies are using it to train up for example in the tech industry, a lot of the tech companies we work with use this method to train up girls, so females. So a lot of females don't want to go into technology industry, especially like that. However, if you encourage apprenticeship, so if let's say I'm going to hire 150 apprentices for this tech company which we do work with, some of them will try to get as close to 50-50, so as females and men, to get the generation thing, and then both of them will train up. So now you just got way compared to the normal overall. You just got you just hired into the technology industry like half 50% girls. So some companies are actually trying to promote this as a way of training the girls in the field because tech is really a male dominated field. So they are trying to do that. So it's so some of the ones I work with are also work-based. Work-based are slightly different with degree apprenticeship. Work-based is that they pay themselves. The company pays themselves. The difference between work-based and degree apprenticeship is with degree apprenticeships, the company has to follow a lot of the regulations and things. So some of the companies don't want to do that and just pays just separately.
What sort of regulations do they have to follow? Especially the ones they don't like to follow.
Yeah, for degree apprenticeships, it's easy to sell to big companies degree apprenticeships because they already got a pot of money. However, for degree apprenticeships, you have to monitor them. They only can go onto certain regulated programs. So you can't build a program for a company.
Okay.
So, for example, we have built programs for specific for whole degrees, specific for a company.
How many? So on those degrees that you built specifically for a company, how many people in 1 year would enroll on that?
If the company is big, we've had hundreds.
Okay.
So the company just sends hundreds of people a year, and then we need all of these people need to be experienced in this, and we want to focus on those. So that's fine. That is way more risky because if you're building something for a company, it costs a lot to build a whole program,
Yeah.
hire lecturers, hire everything, and
Do
then
you always hire new lecturers for those, or do you sometimes, if you've got lecturers that are already working there and their schedule allows it, they do?
we do both. I know previously we have hired if we don't have the staff.
Yeah.
So we hire, like, it matters in terms of like contract. If the company, we agree with the contract at a certain level, and we think is financially viable, we have hired in terms of that.
Yeah.
However, in other situations, we have been burnt in certain situations where that if you create a program for a company, it is increased more risk because
Of course.
because it's like a company which has one customer. Like if something happens to the customer, then then that whole program is at risk.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. So we prefer any program to have multiple companies as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why. So in degree apprenticeships, it's easy at this moment. It's easy to sell degree easy to sell degree apprenticeships because and also uniquely the levy fund which each of the big companies can pay. If they don't want to use it, they can actually give it to small companies.
Okay.
So for them to be trained, so it could be as a gift to
nice.
Other companies like which
And is there some sort of tax deduction they can do around that? Because that would be a motivation if there's tax deductions.
I think the biggest motivation is that it is already a tax. Like
you're already spending it.
You're already spending it, so why not train your staff to be better instead of giving it to the government in terms of like why just waste it?
Yeah.
Like and especially if you train your staff, they're more likely to stay for longer, and then if they feel valued, and the thing is like it's different. Like I've had like it's a very big like so I've had like people who just came out of universities and who hasn't maybe not got the best results in certain situations happened, or people who've like might have had like a very bad start or something.
Yeah,
we had that, and then we have like people which are like directors of massive like banks and things.
What's the oldest person you ever had? This is what you know.
To be fair, we do MSCs as well, which like as you can imagine, like a lot of people like older does it. So like we've had people in over 50s easily. So like the directors were over 50, like I would say like potentially.
Do they ever feel uncomfortable or like they're above everyone? Because especially when you're a director of a big company, obviously already earning a lot of money, it's like, why am I back here? And have you ever had it where you've got employees or obviously director is technically employee, but employees that have been sent to do the training, but you can tell they don't want to be there?
Yes. So like for example, like a few of the directors we have several directors in different companies, and we sometimes they go there and find out that like this is not the level we want to be higher, like so like directors might have gone and joined a bachelor's degree, but it's like I'm too high for this, like I want to be a master's or higher, like and some of the people, like I've worked in this industry for 10 years, like but so sometimes the companies force not force, I would say the companies recommend that you need to have this degree.
Yeah.
So
it just looks good.
Looks good, and it's good for the student as well by far, because the training is good, but also like having a degree makes it easier to move companies as well. Like so especially in certain fields, like sometimes in the tech field you might be said like self studies okay, like it's actually some of the companies that encourage that you train yourself, you build up. But a lot of companies won't even look at you if you don't even have the degree in the field.
Oh yeah, like you could have started in a company, especially let's say when the company is small, grown with the company. You may have done, let's say, accounting, at university, but you basically have adapted to be the lawyer or part of the legal department, and you might actually know the stuff. You might be good, but if you try and go to another company, they might be like, "Where's your law degree?"
Yeah, like the thing is like there's certain fields you have to, and certain fields like if you want a promotion you need to have a certain level, certain companies. Um, you might have started off at very low, but if you want to get to a certain level,
Yeah.
one of the minimum requirements is you have a degree. Like some companies would say, um, and to be fair, and there's several people which might be experienced in the field and just want to learn. There's a lot of people which want to learn about the because like if you one thing good about the university is that normally if you work in a company you learn specifically for that company, and it might be very difficult to move.
Yeah.
What the whole point of a university is, sometimes it might be annoying when I was a student that they generalize, so
Yeah.
as an overall, so you can move into different things. So sometimes they want to learn outside their field,
Yeah.
because we have several programs, but like they might be like a specialist in one field of that program, but they might not be specialists in the whole of the industry.
Yeah.
So so it's a good for, and the thing is and a lot of people just want to have wanted to change the field, because
That's true.
so a lot of people nowadays, in the past used to be like 50, 60, your whole life could be in one industry.
Oh
Done.
yeah, people were lifers back then, whereas now
Lifers.
you could switch 4 jobs in 10 years.
And the thing is, like back then, like when you got a job, the company used to keep you forever. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
And the pensions were good and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
And like now it's now, especially with the younger generation, especially like Gen Z and things, they're much more likely to move like after a year or two. Like so it's different. Like you need to keep training yourself if you want to go play, and that's a good thing about university on this is that you can always choose, always move. So like for example, I had people which had like totally different like industries, and they wanted to go into like engineering industry. They need to start from first. I think the biggest thing people I have also has people which have worked in the industry and has been very scared coming back to uni,
I can imagine.
because like they haven't done, like some of these people haven't done maths for like let's say 10 years,
Yeah.
and then you're going into engineering maths, so like it won't be like basic maths.
Yeah.
It will be much a much more like
And it's assessed. It's not like something you can maybe Google and just figure out. It's something that you're gonna have exam. You're gonna have coursework.
and like I've had people after 1 or 2 weeks which like which came from is like I haven't done maths for this many times, so it's like I don't think I could do it. Like so like
Whether have they dropped out of the course? And if they do, what happens then? Because it's not like if I go to university on my own, and I'm paying for it, I've got loans, I can drop out anytime. But if a company's doing it, what's
no, like you can actually drop out in I think there's a limit of like a few weeks or a month that if you drop out in that period we don't charge you. So
okay?
if you drop out too early and like we don't really charge you for like if you drop out like 2 days after you like enrolled,
Yeah.
then we're not gonna charge you like so
Okay.
like or something like that. So if you stay for like 6 months, of course we could charge
Oh yeah,
you.
that's like the majority of that.
Yeah, so like so it works differently, and to be fair, like I would say degree apprenticeships and work-based programs, both of them are harder than normal programs,
Okay.
because you got a full-time work. A lot of these people are some of these people are slightly older, so they have families to deal
Oh
with.
yeah.
So it's I have a lot of people who have full kids and things already.
Have you found that that helps ground them? Because I remember when I was at uni, there was a couple of students that were older. They were like adult students. We was all adults, but there's some older students, and they was like in their 30s, maybe early 40s, and you could tell the way they approached the education and the university. It was a bit more. It was like less stressful and less tense almost for them. So you would see students my age getting stressed about exam or about this, whereas to them it was like they was getting on with it because they had gone through job, they had kids, they had done whatever else in their life, and it was just like it is what it is almost. Again, that was just two,
Yeah.
so I can't say that'll be the case for every 40-year-old, but
Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't say most of the students are like that over 40. I would say there's a few students like that. Most of our students are young, so they've just finished a lot of their students finished their levels and their company picked them from the new college.
Okay, so like they're at the age where they could go to university, but they
Choose degree.
happen to land a job, and they're like, "I'll go down that route."
So a lot of the companies actually have like relationship with the colleges. So like it's a so we have okay, these are the students, we have 100 something 150 apprenticeships, they get paid. Keep in mind, they don't, and then different companies pay differently, but they actually get paid. So so some of these and some of these students, like some of these apprenticeships companies pay a lot. They pay like good salaries,
Oh yeah.
while others not as much. But but again, keep in mind they're paying for your university. So
Yeah. It's a free degree.
It's a free degree, and it's like, so technically, you actually getting a very high salary to the company, because they're paying for you as apprenticeship as well as university degree, and university degrees are not cheap. So
That's the other thing. The obviously currently to have a university degree is about just under 10 grand a year. So 3 years, assuming no maintenance, so just the course loans. That's about 30 grand for a bachelor's. Is the programs that you run for the companies, is it at the same rate, or is it a slightly higher rate or different rate?
it's pretty much similar rates.
Okay.
So we're not, it's not like
You're not rinsing them just because they're a company.
no, unless they want to program just for themselves and they're going to give us a huge amount of students, then there's always potential of a contract with
Okay, but that's a more specific scenario. Usually the company's big and they're like, we want this and we'll pay for it as well.
Yeah, and so that's usually so we normally have like a fixed, and for degree apprenticeships you can't change it. It's degree apprenticeships is normally a set price set by the government. So
Okay.
Work-based program. That's why the work-based programs is more flexible. University can build as long as it is to the standard, but you can build it and to what the company needs specifically, and you can do it. With degree apprenticeships, is regulated heavily by the government, so you can only choose certain fields.
Yeah.
So the government chooses in relation to what programs you can have.
Okay.
The government chooses what fees you can charge. So it's not us who chooses.
Okay.
You can ask lower than the set fee, but nobody's.
But you're not forced to do that fee, so you can do lower.
You can do lower, but we don't. No, most people, unless you actually really.
Struggling to get students.
Unless you are trying to undercut another university, you won't rather. And we don't really want to go into that situation. Like,
do all universities that you know of do some sort of degree apprenticeship program?
A lot of them do. To be fair, my university was one of the first universities to actually do it ever.
Okay.
And one of the first universities to ever have graduations on that thing. So
is the graduation separate, or are they part of the
university?
No, what I mean, is it part of the other students that have their graduation?
Yeah, they're same ceremony.
Oh, okay, so it's the same ceremony.
So you get the same documentation.
Yeah.
You get the same ceremony. However, sometimes with degree apprenticeship you get extra. So you also get an apprenticeship certification.
Do you on that ceremony? Do they make it clear these are degree apprenticeship, or
no?
So if you were just randomly at that ceremony, you wouldn't know which one's from regular bachelor's and which one's from a company bachelor's.
Yeah. We just state we would say the title of the program, and in terms of the degree you're getting, you won't be able to tell. It's a difference. Like the name doesn't actually anywhere would be saying work based or anything. It's just a degree. So in terms of when you finish the document, you're going to end up with exactly what a student which went through the normal process have got. Main difference, and however, you actually pretend you're going to get more. If you went to the degree apprenticeship side, you get another certificate, which is apprenticeship certification.
Okay.
If you do endpoint assessment with another organization like the CMI and like a charter management constitute, so you're going to get like more qualifications, not just from the university. You'll get qualifications from other organizations. And in the end of the day, you're going to have a company. You're literally going to have a job that you can go to. And a lot of the jobs, after you complete, you get a promotion. So
There's that as well.
yeah, so like
More money as well as a result of that.
so literally like so a lot of the students, let's say, a lot of some students, after they finish, they're like, what am I going to do? I have to apply for jobs. Like, how long would that take?
Yeah.
With this is done for you.
You
Like,
already got the job.
yeah, and you're going to get a promotion. Like, so.
And they're more likely, as long as nothing goes wrong, they're more likely to keep you because they put that money into you. I guess the question I have, do they ever say to their students that they send to your university or any university that because I'm sending you on this course, you have to stay with us for an extra X amount of years? So I know some universities or no, some companies will say, I'll pay for your, let's say your accounting education, but then you have to stick with us for 3 years.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
Like, they're not gonna, like, even like, for example, like my girlfriend is doing a course and you need to stay with them at a certain time of years. It's an accounting course, which but still costing like 20 grand to them. So so it's not a small thing, and the company is investing in you, but it will be in your contract that you should stay in this company for so it will most likely, but again like different companies. Some companies will be like 1 year. However, most of the companies which are not like when you finish, they do give you a promotion. They take you out of being apprenticeship and they actually give you a proper job. And a lot of the ones I work, because I work the engineering field, the salaries are quite good. Like the salary field, it's not like you go and then you join like a low level role.
Yeah.
You already think, and keep in mind you've been in the company for like 2-3 years, maybe sometimes 4 years, sometimes 5 years. Some degrees can take 5 years to complete. So like sometimes people they actually get the promotion while apprenticeship. So they already sometimes some of the students get like promotion every year as a way to like encourage you to actually do it. So
to keep doing it, keep getting good grades, and stay with them after.
And other companies will be different companies will be like some companies will be like and if the student isn't doing very well, they'll be like can there's more support, everything like saying. And there's other companies which is like you have a second chance. If you don't do well in the second chance, we're not paying for you. And that's the hard bit, is that it's actually if sometimes if you don't perform in the course, you don't just lose the program, you lose your job.
Yeah, that's
and it has happened many times. It's not unusual.
Have you ever had a student like get upset or go into tears because let's say they found the news, or for some reason they're at the university and they've lost the job or whatever, or they've come back and expressed like asking for help or something?
We try to support them as much as we can. I've had several students like which have gone through like a lot of issues, like because I'm also responsible for any exceptional circumstances.
Okay.
So if I'm responsible for hundreds and hundreds of students, like every you hear some very bad things.
I'm sure
family issues, so like or any other issues they might be having. So I've gone through some of them, and it does affect you some of them, because like when you some of the things when you know the person, like you've seen him, you've seen his picture, you've talked to him, and then he comes up with like there's something really a thing. So that's the thing. And yes, some of the students have like I've had students which are the thing is sometimes the university is more liberal and not more flexible, I would say, than some of the companies. Okay. So like for example, in normal universities, like summer programs, like in normal university, you get 3 chances. So you get 3 chances to fail. A lot of the companies, you get if you fail once, you get second chance. If you fail a second time, that's it.
Yeah.
So even though we are at a university, we're happy to keep the student. The companies.
Yeah, because they're like, you're not performing. There's somebody else and we're spending potentially tens of thousands on your education. We could spend it on someone else.
And it's really hard that when we actually it's really hard when we actually do the looking at the students and looking at the things like decision, does the student can the student fail or not. It's really hard when we are making those decisions knowing that that person will lose a job, because lately we're actually making the decision because we know the companies and we know
what they
like what the regulations are. So it's technically it's not that you can't say it's the company's fault. You can't say it's the most of the time it's not the company's fault. It's not the university's fault. Sometimes sometimes the student doesn't perform.
Yeah.
Like in every even normal programs in every situation. Even I think when we were universities, some students sadly didn't make it.
You always had that one or two students that just did really badly for whatever reason. Sometimes they were lazy. Sometimes they had other issues going on in their life.
And sometimes this is plagiarize, and that happens.
Yeah. Okay. So, how often would you say that happens on these programs compared to a regular program like what we did? Would it be higher or lower?
Um, I don't deal with like normal programs, so I
Yeah.
don't know what the percentage of normal programs would be. Um, we do have like very high tech systems where it can monitor your plagiarism.
Yeah.
So we have two systems. So we check that how much plagiarism is compared to every other submission made in the past. Secondly, the teachers marking will know if you got like if it looks really similar.
Yeah.
So we do have and we have other systems as well to check. So if you are found plagiarism, it's actually quite serious, and like it will go to a board, which will like thing, and we've had people who are lied to us.
That, like, you ain't gonna admit that you plagiarized them, are you?
And sometimes it's like, and realistically, if you lie to us, your punishment will be worse than if you didn't lie to us.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, has that ever happened where somebody has plagiarized and then the company's just been like flat out get out?
The thing is, we've had situations where students have plagiarized, and we put a penalty there and left.
Yeah.
So you got you just don't do it again.
Yeah.
Like person, it might affect the student's marks a little bit overall, but we're not kicking the student out.
Yeah. It's a warning, basically.
Warning, pretty much. And first time situation, warning. You will lose some marks. There's some penalty. You will lose some marks. So most likely will cap you to like 40%.
Jesus, that's a pretty big.
Matter that's but it matters how much and what the student did.
Okay.
Like that situation was quite bad.
Okay.
And that situation was, and the problem with that is that we were okay to leave it, but the company wasn't.
Company wanted to send a message.
Yes. So the company, we provided the information to the companies, and the company. I don't know. Thing is, I think company would have given him much harsher, because like plagiarism is like it's wrong in the university, but like with the company that includes trust, that causes trust issues.
Yeah.
Because if you're willing to plagiarize the work to a point and then potentially lie about it, can you trust that person in your company?
Yeah.
So that's the hard bit. Sometimes just because this is also why sometimes it's harder, is that just because we do something doesn't mean the company is going to just like accept that.
Yeah.
You are their employees. You technically, some of the companies take it very seriously. You are representing the company. If someone,
as in like the students that come to
the students are representing the company, they're employees going to if they do something wrong, like I have had people with some of the students which have like potentially been rude to the lecturers and things.
Are they like slightly older students, or are they just
younger ones?
Okay, some of the older ones that
I
are
would,
I know more.
Yeah. But like it's normally in terms of like making like a disturbing the class and things, like coming in late and things. And thing is like Sometimes you get that in universities,
Yeah,
normal
you do.
students. However, that's the bad look for the company,
Oh yeah.
because like keep in mind, other companies are there as well. So literally, like if you're acting like a not if you don't act like professionals, you are expected. Sometimes there was like some companies wanted to wear the school uniform while they're going to uni. So like to be professional, like suited up and
Okay.
everything. It's like that was rejected. But like
Who registered at the university or the company?
both and students didn't want to do it, and it will make them stand out from the other students. So it's like
Oh yeah, like you don't want that.
yeah. So like, but the thing is like that's the thing. It's like, but the company took it very seriously. So because we have a relationship with these companies for many years.
Yeah.
Some of them are new, but some of them we have for like 5 6 7 years. Like we had like a partnership. We train their staff,
Oh yeah.
and they are customers. Like, and the students, and to be fair, they need to be as professional as they are at university as their thing. So if a student like let's say a student goes out and gets like very drunk, which like come on, let's be honest, every student, normal student does.
Yeah.
If he gets drunk and damage it or gets in trouble in the university, that's not it. Like that's just a bad image for the company.
Oh yeah.
So you can't be as relaxed as a normal student. You cannot skip classes because they're being monitored
Yeah.
because they're paying you to be there. So it's like would you skip a whole day of work?
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. So if you skip a whole day of uni, which I know that some normal students do,
Yeah.
normal students can skip because like normal university we don't hold hands.
I don't know how the university that you work at and is, but I know the university that I went to is stricter now than it was when I went to it. Because when I lectured there a few years ago, they it was a requirement when you go into the class, your badge
Yeah.
by the door, you had to scan,
We had that.
scan it. But it wasn't a requirement when I went to university. Was it a requirement when you went to university?
No.
And
Actually, we did. I think we had no, we didn't.
in the actual class to track that you've actually turned up to the
No,
lesson.
no, we didn't because I remember like sometimes like being late, but because of bus or some situation, and then sneaking from the back. So,
Yeah.
there
There were students I remember that didn't go for months. They were like, you saw
Mm.
them at the start of the year. You saw them like in December when it was handing time for the Christmas assignment. Then like in April, May when it was the final exams. But obviously, I'm guessing that don't wash now.
No, so we have much more regulation. However, we don't we don't force you to come to classes. Like university is like pretty much like you are free. Like we're not
Yeah.
gonna chase you down like in school. Like oh, you have to do your homework.
Yeah.
If you don't submit, you don't submit.
Yeah.
We're just gonna cap you. Like yes, there's like we'll check like why you did not submit. If there's actual reason like doctor note or something,
Yeah.
of course we'll give you extra time or you get support or something, and we don't cap you. But
You'd be
if
lazy and you just
if you just didn't submit because like oh I forgot, then
yeah.
because like we're trying to universities are trying to prepare you for work, like you can't do that work.
No, you can't. No.
So universities don't. The thing is like in schools they chase you for your coursework, they chase you for everything, they tell you what to do hit by hit by hit. But university is like it's your thing. You do your own research, you do all the things, you do the paperwork, and we will mark it and
Yeah.
we will check it. So a lot of the work is not like spoon fed. A lot of the work, as you can know, like especially in the IT industry, like you have to learn a lot of it yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
YouTube and Google,
yeah,
which is all Google.
uh, and also some of those like coding pages where like you ask the question. They just
Stack
give you- yeah.
Overflow. Like Overflow.
So like, but the thing is like the whole point is to learn yourself. And however, that's one thing which is different with degree apprenticeship because they're paying you. Companies check your attendance, so they actually monitor you.
Okay.
So the company is checking that is this student coming in,
Yeah.
and like so this company check, and then like each time they're coming on campus, and then I actually send that information to the companies, and if they don't, then the issues. To be fair, I think the biggest things we have in the first year. First year, we have like sometimes young students who don't understand how serious it could be, and like in terms of like not coming to class or not the thing. As you say, like and then they see that in the second and third year, there are people missing.
Okay. Yeah.
So second and third year, I have very few people problems
Yeah.
because like
It's the same with, when you're at university as a normal student like us.
yeah,
You have a lot of people
in the first year.
first year, but by the time you get to final year, even if they're not doing very well, they're more likely to turn up and they're a bit more concentrated because it's basically got rid of the students that didn't want to be there or couldn't be there.
Yeah, I remember even in my university, like the first year, we had several students which never came back the second year. They disappeared. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's like because like we can't really in university style. It's like we can't really progress you unless you actually complete it.
Yeah.
So like if you don't complete your first year, we can't take you to second year. So and you have to have we kind of like in certain situations, like if you haven't finished one module, we can potentially move you to second year, but then you have to finish off the first module. But if you fail like 2 or 3, 4 modules, we can't move you. And keep in mind, in universities you have 3 attempts final. 3 attempts. If you get 3 attempts and then you fail the third attempt, you're out.
Yeah.
So, so that's the thing because and things you're paying a lot. Like imagine you paid so much money in student loans and things because they're not gonna you guys are not gonna pay you back.
No.
Like if you they're gonna take that whole like 9-10,000 and you have to pay that back.
Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine if you have 3 years of loans and then literally, because I knew people, the other person that did that, it was at the end of their final year, and then they flunked out. It's like you have probably more than you probably like 30 now. You'll probably be near a 50 grand, with accommodation loans and maintenance loans. 50 grand of debt, and you have to have the degree to get the job that should get you higher salary.
What's the point? It's like, thing is like university. The thing is, keep in mind now you don't really have to pay it unless you actually earn 226 or something higher.
Yeah.
But realistically, you expect to earn that eventually. But also, it gets cut off after 30 years, I think.
Yeah, but the thing in my eyes, if you lived in the UK for 30 years and you never or hardly earned that much, then that degree was a waste of time anyway.
Yeah, but if you didn't get the degree, then you didn't really have the degree. Anyway.
Oh no, you didn't. But
like, oh yeah, you mean for the students who's actually done
the
degree? Of course, yeah, because like because you expect to a certain level, and the fact is, after a certain age, you expect to get up.
You don't expect to work in McDonald's flipping burgers if you have a computer science degree.
Yeah. But to be fair, like even if you worked in McDonald's, you expect it to be management levels to go next management level.
Oh, yeah,
like,
over
time, you would be over that.
I mean, you would think, but like there's always that restaurant that you go to. There's always that one person that's like everyone else is like 25 to 30. You get that one person at 50 because that Five Guys in Merry Hill. Everyone else is pretty young there, but there's the one guy. He looks like he's in his 50s. But he's always very quiet, but he's always rapid and he's always very, good at what he's doing.
To be fair, like that's great for me. Like that's great because like thing is like he's working. Like
yeah, at least
like,
he's working.
He's working. Like and things he might enjoy it. And sometimes like some of the jobs you have is stressful. Sometimes like let's just say there's a lot of people who worked in banking industry and hate it. Like a lot of people who worked in like. A lot of people who I'm not joking. There's been like my family are like a lot of them are doctors and like a lot of the people who've worked 5 years as to become a doctor and can't handle stress.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, if you took away because obviously doctors on average earn more than a lot of other regular professions. If you took away the money, this is my honest belief. That no matter what they say about helping people, if you took away the money, they wouldn't stay. If you lower the money,
yes, but no, they will still be a doctor. They'll just move to like Australia or Canada.
No, but worldwide, the doctor salaries were not that high.
To be fair, actually, NHS actually has a huge shortage. I think the NHS is 30,000 nurses down. Like and also doctors down. Like my dad just is retired, but he's still working, and they're paying him. They're pretty much paying him extra because they have nobody.
Yeah,
because doctor is a field which people don't want to work here. It's thing is, keep in mind, what are the people who've actually become doctors? They're normally like very they normally got A's in everything.
Yeah.
They've normally got like top of the range and like very normally harder subjects, sciences and things.
Yeah.
Thing is, you can move into the banking, a lot of the other industries in like put not a huge amount, but there's a lot of industries which you can make a good living, because like yes, there's a doctor which will make over 100 grand, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them,
In this country, it's not. In America,
oh yeah,
it's
American kill.
if you're a half decent doctor, you're making probably a quarter of a mil.
Yes.
In here, most of them are not hitting the six-figure mark.
No, most of them aren't, and like even nurses are like,
Oh no,
unless
they earn hard. They earn what, like mid-20s?
yes, unless they're like midwives and higher up, they can get 40, but that's
Yeah.
like their top.
Yeah,
like
but again, like 40s and like crazy. Yeah, like you said, that is
Yeah.
their top. So yeah, with doctors, it's plus the other thing with doctors is, and partly why they're obviously willing to pay a bit more, is all the education that you need. Whereas I've got a computer games programming degree, but it's a computer science degree basically. I know people that don't have computer science degrees that have learnt it and have jobs that are earning the same amount.
Yeah, you
Even
would
if
never trust a doctor.
That's the thing. Even if you had someone, there'll obviously be people out there that medically can do stuff. But if you turn up to a surgery and there's like, oh yeah, today you're gonna be operated on by Bob. He's just been practicing on his horses or his animals.
Yeah.
He's very good, but he don't have a degree.
But the thing is, it's not just doctor is actually one of the hardest fields in my head.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it because you literally, if you make one mistake, people die.
Potentially people hit that.
Not like if you get the dosage wrong, or if you get like the what type of like if you give like a certain medicine, you get too much, you'll die. If you like analyze someone and you get like you think it's something else, but it's not that, then that person could just die. And like this, and like if you make a simple mistake, that's why there's a lot of people who like there's actually a whole legal team in the thing. Because like, and especially if you're realistically, it is actually saying that like from because my family are doctors, like realistically, when you're a junior doctor, when you start off, it's likely that you will make a mistake and somebody will die.
Oh, for sure. Like
For sure.
I remember hearing that it's not if, it's when. It's like how long, and apparently the first one hits them so hard because it's never happened before. But then over time, by the time they're 40, 50, they don't want it to happen. But the good doctors obviously have coping mechanisms to be like, it's happened.
But that's at the same time, by the time they get old, they will get used to it. The fact is you're seeing death every day, every situation. In the end, like I don't know if I could handle that. Like seeing people cry, things like it. Partly, I would say your humanity will get like hard. You can't get crushed every time you lose a patient. Like
you definitely notice that with doctors more so. They're a bit more, I wouldn't say cold, but a bit more sort of not even abrupt, but they're just sort of like this is the way it is. So almost like not that they don't care, but it's just like this is it.
Yeah, like for example, like to be fair, the worst situation, they see someone who's gonna die way before like someone is gonna die. So like for example, like a lot of people who have grandparents and things, like normally they just die and you just know you're less surprised. Like but like with a lot of the doctors, you can see the symptoms, you know in your head how long they have, and you're prepared for it. And you also see so many other grandpas and like younger people who have died. Like so they just said it. And also with so it's just like, so yeah, I would say they deserve as many the high salary, because like the fact is I personally can't do it. I don't want to see like I can see I might lose my head if I actually make a mistake and somebody dies. And the thing is, I make mistakes. So like my biggest mistake would be like actually I could forget to put a student into graduation and they don't graduate. So that's my biggest fear.
But you could, that's easily rectifiable.
Yes, but that would mess up the kids' future. Like if I was going to graduation with all my friends, all my teams, and then they forget me, and I get pushed to the year after, I will not be happy. Imagine all your friends looking around. Oh, did he fail? Did he fail? Like I don't know. It's like a small thing, but that is one.
Let's say if you forgot to give them the degree, you could still give it them, and if they wanted to do the graduation, they could just do it next year. That's it's not the same as messing up and killing people.
Oh no, that's not the same at all. Like,
No,
I'm just saying that's my biggest fear.
yeah.
That's
And
my
that's an extreme one.
that's extreme one. That's my biggest fear, that I forget someone and they don't graduate. And and to be fair, that's my fear every year.
Has that happened?
Not yet. Like clearly, you have to look to hundreds of students. If you and you have to process them in the system like properly, that and that all graduate, and then check that all of them are there. Like it's because you're doing this manually to a point.
Yeah.
Like you process them, but it is possible you forget someone. Or you possible that they're giving prizes and you forget someone's prize. You are human, and but I check like 3, 4, 5 times. So I'm not because that's one. Anything else you can change. So also I make sure that all the students are attached to the right modules and things. Um, there's a chance that they like it has happened that like there's one student which has a unique situation that the module has been at, but then the student like I'm supposed to do this module, like so it's okay. You can always test them and things. So this happens, but like that's a very rare situation. It might have happened once, I think, but like that's easily changeable. But missing a graduation, my head would be like very bad.
Yeah.
And but the thing is like but the thing is like the doctors and things like one mistake and you kill someone, and then you have to then you have to tell the family. I can't do that. Like like I know my family does it, but also like the thing is like thing is this year with COVID situation, like it's the hardest time, like with all the things, hardest time the doctors would have ever worked. Like it would have been like extreme situation, like once in a generation, once in a thing. And literally they got like 1% increase. I get more increase. Like I got matched inflation, and I get a little increase.
That's
Well,
nice.
like let's be honest, I work from home. Yeah. So while like they literally risk their lives potentially, and they got 1%. So
But the other thing I'll say with doctors is one, you choose to be a doctor. So but the other thing is the respect and reputation outside of being rich. That's probably the highest for a profession.
Oh yeah, like my family, like, oh, I'm doctor.
Yeah, because if you have a doctor, and let's say you have an accountant, and let's say if you have a programmer, doctors obviously higher. Accountant, I would say, depends on the circle. Because you got the three: doctor, lawyer, accountant.
Yeah.
It's like those are the three, especially for Asians, and Chinese people. It's like, are you
or engineers?
Yeah, Asians don't mind engine. It's like if you didn't be one of the main three, engineer is like, oh, I'm an engineer. But like, if they have their other brother that's a doctor, like,
doctors.
Because they was like, step aside, your other brother's a doctor.
But do you feel like if you go to like Silicon Valley and things, engineers make killer money. Like
they don't care about doctors.
Like,
they care about PhDs, but not like medical doctors.
Yeah. So like it's I think it's older. I think I personally like for example certain countries like India and things. I think there might be too many programmers like because everybody's going to four fields.
Yeah.
Like things like in this country, if you really look at actually where the money is, you become an electrician, you become a plumber, you become like even a construction tradesman. Because they looked at as working class people.
I know,
but they make a killing.
Yeah, like considering they've got no degree, no education like that, they got no debt or student loan as a result, and on top of that, they won't probably want to talk about it, but a lot of it's cash.
Yeah, it's cash.
Cash, so they can minimize the tax very easily. They just don't put it in a bank. It's a lot easier. Plus, those people that have those skills, it's like you're as a doctor, outside of his work, obviously he helps if let's say you hurt yourself.
Oh no,
he
his
could-
house, my house is full of like paracetamol and loads of like medicine.
Yeah, but generally speaking, on a day-to-day basis, him being a doctor doesn't help with his day-to-day life.
And technically, he's not supposed to treat anybody outside the hospital because, like, that's legally you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
Because
obviously he would because I've met him. He's nice.
yeah, he
person.
would, but you're not supposed to, because if you do something and it goes wrong, then
You're representing the.
no. If this, because as long as you're in a hospital and you're treating, the NHS legal system are protecting you.
Yeah.
So if you get sued, like let's say £1 million,
The hospital.
the hospital gets sued and the hospital pays.
Yeah.
But if you are outside, they can sue the individual doctor.
Yeah.
Like let's say you're like reviving someone and you think. A lot of the time when you're reviving someone, you will potentially break your ribs.
Oh yeah.
And they might sue you for it.
Oh yeah.
Like in certain places they might think, but like if
people do it,
and like if the person dies, you might get the blame. So
yeah, for sure.
So you have to be very. I know you're supposed to. It means like you're not supposed to, but a lot of doctors will.
Yeah.
But this like it's not protected. So like that's the thing. Like so yeah.
Actually, what was it talking about before you?
That's what I just forgot.
Yeah, because we're talking about doctor. We're talking about their salaries, the respect of a doctor.
Doctors' respect is number one. Like
that is universally number one.
That is universally number one. Like certain companies which are very patriotic, I would say soldiers are quite high up. Like in America, soldiers are very high up.
Soldier is
to a point.
It's like separate. It's like doctor is in the job thing. Soldier is separate almost.
Separate. However, like I would say, like for example, countries like America, soldiers are extremely respected. Yeah. Like extremely. Like they can't do anything wrong. In terms of like very protected, very thing. Yeah. However, once they stop being a soldier, they left. Like a lot of them have PTSDs. Oh yeah. A lot of them have like very bad financial issues. Nobody cares about them after.
Oh yeah, because a lot of them aren't very well educated. They've been equipped to do something very stressful that's hurt, like the PTSD, and frankly, they don't want to go back, but they can't not go back because they can't cope in the real world as well. But even when they leave, even if they're not financially doing well, they're still seen as like he's a soldier. He's like he saved our country, even though they probably haven't saved the country, but like he's a soldier.
Yeah, like there's still lots of like I'm vet. I used to be a soldier. There's respect there. Yeah. Not really financial respect, but like they respect like it's there. In this country there is, but it's not as much. Like in this country there is like, oh, you're a soldier, but you won't be like, oh my god. Like in this country is less. I would say UK is less patriotic than America. America is very. Yeah. But at the same time, in the UK, if you have PTSD and things because of the NHS, you actually get some support.
Yeah, more than the US. I find the US in general is over the top on everything. Yeah. It's just like their overweight people are like it's like they're huge.
I would say US is like if you have value, if you have value to the country or to people, then you can make a lot of money, you can make a thing. But if you end up not having any value, then you're worthless.
Yeah, and whereas in this country, obviously up to like college level, you have free education, you have free NHS, and there's other job sort of allowances that help you. In there, it's like your insurance don't cover it, so that's it.
To be fair, it's in UK, even in universities. Okay, you said the fees are very high. It is. I was in some situations because the normal some other European countries, because like you have to pay. The government pays more. Yeah. The government has taken more out, so you have to pay for more students. And again, you could say that should people who've never gone to university pay for people who are going to university? So is it fair? Because a lot of people don't go to university, but the tax they're paying for it. Yeah. But like,
but that's like saying I'm never going to go to hospital. I'm only going to go once every 5 years. Because
some people would say that.
But it's like, but it's there. And on the argument of, I never went to university. But the thing is, you're benefiting from the goods and services
Right.
that are made by those
Like the people who actually went to the who are doctors, which will treat you, went to the university that you
Yeah.
think. So like yes, but the thing is like university is not really stopping someone who can't afford it from going, because it's a loan that pretty much everybody can get.
Yeah.
It's,
As long
it's
as you have the A level grades or BTech whatever,
yeah,
you can go.
and you can always like redo them and increase them and
Yeah, that's
eventually
not really much of an
and
issue.
but the thing is like or you could go from experience. Like like in terms of our work base, we also look at experience sometimes. If you're
Yeah.
gone like industry for so many years,
Oh yeah.
and the thing is like and the fact is like yeah, it's universities in UK actually let you go up, because like you just take the loan and then you pay it back or not pay it back, and it's not really anything. But in America, it's different. Like America, a lot of people actually join the military because that's the only way they can afford university.
Yeah.
The university actually helps you go. Like a lot of lawyers, doctors actually have to join the military first for the military to pay
Yeah.
for a thing, and it's not that and that's even and they have to pay even more. And the worst thing about America is that student debt, it never goes. Even in America, if you go, I think if you go bankrupt, it's still in your system, so you
Yeah.
have to pay it. Like in UK, you can go bankrupt and everything goes. Like
No, it's the student loan doesn't.
still in London still.
I checked it.
Oh wow.
I checked it. Student loan, pretty much. There probably is some countries, but universally is that one loan that if you go bankrupt, it's still there.
Well, after 30 years it goes.
It goes, but declaring bankruptcy does not get rid of your student loan in this country.
Yeah, but the difference part is in America you have to pay it. It's not
Yeah.
like you have to get a certain income and then pay.
Oh
it.
yeah, no.
Like in America, you have to pay.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah, like here was 26 or whatever it is. You have to like if you're just barely making like if you work in a McDonald's, let's say you couldn't get a job, you started working at McDonald's. Chances are you're probably not going to be earning enough to pay.
Yeah.
Student loan. So,
And like in America, like even if you drop out, you have to pay that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so like it's a very big hindrance. Like, in the country, like a lot of people say like the amount of debt is a hindrance for people to go up, and it might be for some people like it's a big number. For some people, like seeing like 30,000 debt is like huge.
yeah, but in America it's hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And but that's standard. Because here, I remember me and my cousin was working at, because his sister is at university studying to become a doctor, and we was working out how much debt a modern doctor would have, or a modern student would have once they become a doctor, assuming they take out obviously the course loans and every other loan applicable, and it turned out it was like 98 grand, basically 100 grand in this country
Do you feel like
to become a
I've seen like yeah, but in like in America, I've seen people with like 250, 280,000
but that's a standard.
debt. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like especially if you're doing like a law degree.
yeah,
I
or
think that's-
doctor.
yeah.
Yeah, like a lot like some people in like I was watching
Yeah.
like TikTok and things like, oh yes, I'm a doctor, and like I'm like 218,000 debt because of like this student loan. Of course, in America,
they earn
you
more,
gotta
but-
make that crazy
you,
amount.
you do earn more as well. So there's kind of that balance act. Just want to remember, there's another question I wanted to ask you about. You know your students and the courses. Those courses that you were saying that you specifically tailor make for the companies. Is there some sort of feedback loop system? Because one of the problems, I don't know if you found this. I think it's especially more for programming and technical degrees, but probably similar with yours as well. Is that what you do at university is usually outdated by the time you finish?
Yes.
Is there a feedback system where they'll say, because especially if those students are doing a couple of weeks training, then a couple of weeks on the job, they'll be like, this is either wrong or this is just old and not helping.
Yes, like for example, like let's say we're looking at a master's, like let's say we were looking at a bachelor student which have already started, which has already done their first year and second years potentially.
Yeah.
And we're doing a map and we're doing a mapping to see what the student has done, and to see if all they need to do is like the remaining.
Yeah.
Anything more than 5 years, if a module has been done, like similar module, but if it's done more than 5 years,
Yeah.
we like everything's changed now.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years. Like technology has changed. Everything's changed. So you need to do it again. Like if it's like 1, 2, 3 years, yeah, fine, yeah. But like especially in the engineering field,
Yeah.
5 years, 6 years, 7 years is a long time.
But is that only for the degrees in that area that you do, or is it the other degrees? Because when I was at uni, the stuff that we was being taught, like OpenGL, for example, there was actually a newer version, but because the lecturer knew the older version, and that's what's readily available resource-wise, we were being taught over decade-old stuff.
Not necessarily, because a few of factors, because we actually work with these modules relating to the company, so it's relating to what the company needs. So for example, a lot of these ones, like we actually have meetings with the companies throughout the year, look at what we are teaching, what software is being used, and things. So it is what is being used by the general companies, and what technology. So like we do like a of course, like all the lecturers and things go to like conferences and things to learn new technologies, and that's paid by the university, and they're supposed to go to certain amounts a year, and so it does change of the, and we change the modules throughout the year study. Of course, that the some of the modules will stay similar. Like some of the modules don't really change. Like they're gonna like theory files, maths and things. They're not going to change. There's the other things like the lab work and things. We will buy new equipment and things to. That's one thing which has been a little bit difficult nowadays, because some of the lab works you can't really do, and not everybody will have the software. We tried the most, and we also upgrade the software. So like it's always the newest versions, and to be fair, like it has to be something which the students are happy with, because we've had programs where that we taught something and the students was like. Some of the students were like, this is not what we're doing right now. It's like this doesn't relate to my job. But at the same time, we're not supposed to teach them what's relating to the job. We're supposed to teach them the overall. So because there's so many people in different fields, we can't just teach them specifically to their job. But at the same time, some of these students have kind of like they're 20 years in the field. It's like and sometimes, let's be honest, like they might know more than the lecturers in one or two fields.
And
like,
they've actually practiced it.
Yeah, so like, but the difference with our lecturers and things, pretty much all of them have gone through engineering field, so they have actually worked many years in this. We normally the lecturers we have done like pretty much 20-30 years in the industry, and then moved in lecturing, so they know the fields. So it's not like they left university and just became a lecturer. So they are trained. Of course, technology changes, but then we need to keep up with that, because if we're teaching something which is out of date and not relevant to the company at all, then the companies will say, why are we going to pay for it?
Of course.
So we need to go through each of this. We actually go through the softwares, go through the what we're teaching them to the big companies every year, and then the companies actually put their feedback. So the good thing about actually Workbase is that you're getting software and systems and module where companies are actually using right now.
Okay.
So it's not like a program which was created 5 years ago and like they're still teaching it, and the companies have to all change to something else. So the companies are actually included, and a lot of these degree professors, we have like quarterly, weekly meetings with them. Some of these companies want weekly meetings.
Can you get a bit too much where it's like it's not required weekly or whatever?
There's one or two companies which are like they like weekly, like a weekly, like a Friday meeting. They would like a meeting every 2 weeks, and they want a quarterly meeting.
Were they face to face before Corona, or were they remote?
Virtually, like
that's
not too bad. But every Friday, like right in the morning, it has to be right in the morning. Like a meeting, and but it's a good way to track the actions. So like if you have a meeting, it's like the meeting has like I need this, and if you have a meeting right week after, you have to get this done by that week. Like so keeps you accountable, and like and we and it's the difference. With some companies care a lot and have whole teams for their training.
Oh yeah, if they're big enough,
yeah. Well, some other big companies, they're okay for their staff to be like, it's yours. You want to do the course? Okay, but it's like there's a lot of students which actually ask their manager, "Can I please do this course?" And the manager's like, "Yeah, but it's your thing."
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with anything.
I don't want hassle. I don't want meetings. If you're doing it, I just want you to come back
Yeah.
with it. But I don't want to.
I'm just gonna sponsor. I'm just gonna make sure that the company sponsors you to pay, and I don't really want to. I don't want to have a meeting. It's your thing. You just pass it. That's it. And they don't want to have meetings because that's just extra work for them.
Oh yeah.
This is especially very common in like companies that only have one or two students, a few students. But if you have companies giving you 30, 40 every year, then they actually have a representative, like a company rep, to actually be there who you can contact.
Yeah. And I'm guessing the big companies probably have maybe one or maybe multiple people where all they do is make sure they take care of the students. So it's like you, but on the company side.
There's several companies which actually have a training team, which which actually deals with them. And different, even the training teams, different teams work differently. Some people are very like some people are very like if the students been keep failing or having issues, it's like okay, they're fine. Other students is like very like done.
Yeah.
So it's actually very different, and it's actually so it's like you can actually so many of the companies I can tell which companies are better to work with than some of the others. Like in terms of there's some companies, but it's differently in every company. Some company just pays you more, like as an apprenticeship, while other company will pay you just a minimum in apprenticeship.
For sure.
While some companies will give you very nice accommodations, while other companies will give you none. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, while other companies will pay for your lunches, that was really awkward in some situations. Well, like one company paid for their lunches for all their staff, while all the other companies there didn't pay for their lunches.
So was there like 10% of students they just eating free lunch?
Yeah, that's the issue. So we had to put lunches in a different room and tell the students go there. And the fact is, like, to be fair, like the students didn't really want to because lunches didn't really change much, and the students would rather go to breaks and things.
And because they're working, they've got some money.
Yeah, they and like a lot of the things like sometimes we actually had like some of the students bringing people from other like potential other companies like bring in like we don't
because they develop friendship.
They develop friendship with other companies. A lot of these people actually these companies actually direct competitors like direct competitors. But again, the students are students like they're friends and like they bring like and it's like and we can't control who brings who like so we just tell like your food is here and can you please go to this room, and some do, and the thing is some of the company things they don't even go, like they'll just go and rather than spending a time inside a room eating, they'll rather go outside to chill. So like it's different companies are so different, and some companies are very caring, some companies are very nitpicky in terms of situations, like check everything, like if you're 5 minutes late, if 2 minutes late, they want to know.
Jesus.
Yeah, so like some companies are very very thing, and some companies are more loose than others. Like some companies, if you make a mistake, they're okay. Others like no.
The general industry thing, have you noticed that certain industries their companies on average are a bit more relaxed and certain industries are a bit more strict, or is it more company based? Do you think it's more industry based? Do you think like maybe if you have finance companies, do they ever? Because I can imagine like a finance company, let's say a banking company, being a bit more strict with stuff.
It's yes, the banking companies are a little strict. Some of the tech companies are not. The like energy industries are more strict.
I can imagine.
They're very strict.
Basically, old school companies. I'm guessing they're a bit
they're
more.
quite more. So like matters like in some of the other fields like some of the like for example chocolate makers and things like I actually really enjoy working with the.
Did you get free chocolate?
I got loads of free chocolate.
So you get to choose whether they just like just have what you want.
No, like when you go to their office, like they have like bowl of chocolates, which is nice, and then they actually give you like a pass to go to their special chocolate room. So which is like they actually they have a special like a store. It's like a like store, but like you get like it's like chocolates which are getting close to out of date,
So
and
yeah, they have to get rid.
they have to get rid of it. And like but the thing is like chocolates don't really go bad that
No,
much.
no, no,
Like,
not quickly. It's not like they're week out of date. They're dodgy. It's not like milk.
they can literally survive for months. Like
Yeah,
like
easily.
easily.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not opened, they
Yeah.
can survive.
Do you want some chocolate? Or got some celebrations? as well?
Sure. But the thing is like
You want some?
because like
Which one you want?
yeah, just one. Because like yeah, and they actually have like the discounted prices for their stuff, like really discounted prices. Like
Do you get those prices as well as being like a
when
special guest? Or
yeah, they gave me the card to say that like I get discounted prices. It's not in the shop. It's like everything's discounted. So once you're inside, everything you buy is discounted. So I bought like
limit of how much you can buy?
no, you can take a whole those whole boxes. Like you could like instead of like you buying the bars individually, you can buy the whole box it comes with.
I know because my sister works at Cadbury, and she always likes to correct me and say Mondelez, the parent company. Yeah, well, like, I always say Cadbury because that's the one everyone knows. So she works at Cadbury, and when she's bought chocolate home from the store, she literally just bought a big brown like delivery box of it. Yeah, and it's just like there's a bunch of Whisper, one now likes Whisper or whatever it is, or a bunch of Oreo.
And the best part is like the smell outside. So it just smells of chocolate. I don't know if it's like they're doing fake perfume, just like outside spraying the perfume outside, but it just smells like chocolate.
Or maybe they directed the vents on purpose. I know that's something that Subway do as a tactic to, Subway stores. They'll have the vents directly on purpose go into the entrance because when you smell that bread,
yeah,
you're just like, okay, that's
like
not
I know a lot of few places which are like when you go past by, it's like oh I can you get get the smell. So yeah, so like that's one fun thing about my job. It's like I actually used to be able to travel and actually, and the fact is like I would say my students will be are less. I would say my students will be less problematic in terms of other students because like
regular things.
no because like keep in mind like they're working so they'll be more professional and they
the job.
yeah I think it's like they actually the company that they're doing they're going to be working there for like they'll be there for like 3 4 5 years, so they'd want to make sure that thing. And the fact is I always find that I think university studies as a whole is not really it's actually quite good, I would say. Like I personally would think that colleges and schools are much worse
No wait, students.
in terms of not worse in terms of like a lot of the students don't really want to be there.
Well,
Like
in terms of colleges.
colleges and schools
Schools
like
definitely.
school
Because college isn't.
not colleges but like a lot of schools have like A levels, like they carry on to the A levels. Like, and like it just feels like therefore like going through at least in A levels you can choose. But in our school especially, you're forced to do subjects you don't like, and like you have to choose. Everybody has to choose the same subjects. And to be fair, I find it actually harder when you have like 8 different subjects doing at one time, all different
and
topics.
half of them you don't want to do because it's like you're forced to do maths. I love maths, but you're forced to do it. You're forced to do now at least double science, if not triple, if you want it. English. Then for a good chunk of the time, you're forced to do a language. You're forced to do geography, history, RE, PSHE. Which I still don't know what you do in PSHE. What did you used to do in PSHE? Did you have PSHE?
What is that? Is it religious studies or what is it?
No, religious studies are because you went to high school in this country, didn't you?
Yeah.
Your PSHE, it might have been called. Let me Google it. Might be called something different at your school. I think every school has it. The description is personal, social, health, and economic education. That's all. So
Wait, is that the one you bake stuff?
That's like more home economics.
I had a home economics weird thing.
No, we had that. This is a school curriculum subject in England that focuses on strengthening the knowledge, skills, and connections to keep children and young frames healthy and safe and prepare them for life and work. This was what is taught in PSHE. Nobody knows because I remember when we got there, they used to be like, go on the computer, do what you want. We just play games, like flash games.
I think it's one of those subjects like we had to choose like in university of professional studies
Luckily, we didn't have to do anything like that.
we had to do professional studies. It's like
yeah. It's like the one that's saying we're technically doing it, so we've covered our backs.
yeah, it's like but realistically, no one really listened. Like it was
Oh no.
but the thing is like yeah, with schools like I would say like school teachers would be so hard to do like. Because like half the students don't listen to you, half the students will be like, I don't want to do it. And while universities are totally different. Like you're actually paying to be there on a subject that hopefully you want to do.
Yeah. Plus, also at school, they'll disrespect you. They'll swear. Like some students swear at you. Like at university. I'm guessing at high school, you saw students throw stuff at teachers or say something. Did you ever see that at uni?
No, but I do remember having as a student having a paper ball fight in the back.
No, but I mean like
Nothing
towards,
to not
I mean towards
No,
the
no.
actual
No.
lecturer. Whereas at school, you'll be really disrespectful. So the dynamic changes a fair bit. And at school, it's like the teacher's responsibility.
Let's be honest. Those students which like do throw things and attack school teachers, most likely they won't get the grades to go to the university.
Yeah, there's that as well.
So-
or they don't want to be there. They can't be asked. Even if they get the grades, they just flunk out, chill for a few years, realize they've messed up, go work at Mackey's or some construction job.
One thing I do think is like, which is like, universities in UK is quite inflexible compared to some of the universities in America. It's like, I always hear in America you can choose like really weird subjects,
Like a
you
major
get
and
major
you have a
and like a minor, but
Yeah.
they're totally different industries.
know.
Like
It's like you can major in computer science, but then you minor in
social science or whatever.
yeah, or like law for activists, or
It's
some
really
crazy thing.
weird.
But
It's-
I actually quite like that idea.
I know. I like. It's like you get to
You're not
choose.
forced.
Yeah, so like you could do one which is major, which you actually want for your job,
Yeah.
and the other one is like maybe you want to have fun or meet someone or have some fun or something. However, like if you choose a stupid minor, I don't know if you're like when you're getting hired, it's like what's your major and then what's your minor. The company asks, I'm like, my minor is like
I studied grass in the garden.
yeah,
And I know C++.
mine is how to set parties up. To be fair, that would be quite good for like events planners, but. To be fair, like after because I'm gonna get married soon, like yeah, event planning is not easy. No, I don't want to do events planning. Like
can imagine.
it's not as I think it's like I think it's when you want everything to be perfect, it never ends up to be perfect. But like yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, so that's why I don't think the university students are actually we don't have too many problems with them. And also like a lot of the university students have actually it matters like which university also you go to
Yeah.
like let's like certain universities like or let's say Oxford, Cambridge, and Imperial, like those like there's already a set standard of students you're gonna get there.
Oh, cool.
It's like literally you're just gonna get the top of the top.
Oh yeah. So like all the big universities are doing, they're not providing better students or better education. They're just providing a filter to say that if they've come to Oxford, we've got rid of the medium and the low end students, and we've only taken the high end students.
Yeah, they're already the best of the best.
Exactly.
before they
So
started.
there's no reason why a student in Oxford compared to some other half decent mid level uni can't be just as good after they graduate.
Yes, but one of the biggest advantages I would say as university as a whole, and as like especially certain universities, networking.
Oh yeah.
What like one of the like normally in colleges and universities you make friends and things that potentially life like it's not that easy sometimes to make workmates because nowadays especially because nowadays a lot of people don't stay in a work for 2 years 3 years and then you lose contact.
Yeah, plus also the other thing is compared to university, you're seeing that person from 9 till 5, maybe even longer, and it's like I just want a break from work. So it's like I don't want to see your face. Whereas at university, you might only see them for 3 hours a week or
Yeah.
4 hours a week.
And the thing is, like, if you in universities, you meet so many people. If you have like a lawyer, accountant, a doctor in your group, then you're done.
Oh yeah. I have thought about that. It's like if you have everyone, it's like oh we've got a legal problem, call Bob. Or I've broken my leg, but I don't want to go to hospital. Call John.
That's the thing. It's like I have in my group. I have doctors, so I have no problem with the doctors. I have accountants. I have no problem with accountants. Like only thing I'm missing is a lawyer.
We do need a lawyer. We'll have to get. I think Steve's the closest in terms of his current profession. We'll have to get him to minor in law.
Yeah, but like unlikely. He's happy.
Oh yeah, he's not an accountant.
So like however, like he has to go back. He's working on working. He has to go back to his main office. So everybody's working partly at home, but
yeah, he's already back.
Yeah, so
1 week on, 1 week
his
off.
company is slightly more old-fashioned, I would say. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to say the old-fashioned thing, but like, I think most companies, lot of companies now is looking at least part working for like, and it's good for your home life and things as well. And it saves you a lot of money in petrol and things. So
and time. So that's the other big one. Like, do you want to be commuting an hour there, potentially longer, an hour there, an hour back, at least 2 hours a day, plus then getting ready to commute? Because it's not like, okay, I can roll out of bed and commute. Having a shower, getting dressed, for women, doing makeup, blah de blah de blah. Also, time for breakfast. Whereas at home, you might be like, oh, I'll just pick up a piece of toast when I get a minute or something. So
and like,
as well.
Yeah, and the thing is the stress of traffic in the morning, because morning everybody's going out and you have to be waiting in the traffic, and you don't have to deal with that. Like, I think my company are looking at partly is like having one person in the office fully always there, but taking rotas, so like not everybody has to be there. So as a team of like maybe 5 6, we have one person there always. And then we
one each day almost,
and then have like one day of each day week, like maybe a Thursday, where everybody attends, just so we have the team feel.
Yeah. Plus, if there's something that almost like the serendipity of having everyone in the room, or if there's something that really requires everyone, you can almost sort of talk about it or get the opportunity.
Yeah. And thing is the emails and like Skype and like all the others and like Teams, they only do a certain amount. Like I do think like there are some people which I used to talk to in the office, just generally saying hey, hi, and when they come to you because they're just like, hey, you're there. But like I used to talk to people in the office like pretty much every day, talking to people, and I have talked to them for months. Like, and it's like, hey, how are you? It's been a while. That type of thing. So like, when you're working from home, it does become eventually antisocial. Because I'm like, if you don't work in a place for a year, you slowly just become another person online.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, I personally think like the humans, we do get a lot of communication from faces, and a lot of a lot of hand combination and things, and then like, and also sometimes you're just nicer with like face to face people than you're online.
Oh yeah, it's like even though you know the people, and you're obviously not anonymous with your colleagues, it is a bit like via email, I don't care almost. Whereas in person, it's harder to reject something or say no or say certain things because you can see their emotion.
Yeah, and also like, let's be honest, some people don't know how to write emails properly. Like
any examples you want to give?
No, in terms of like some people when they're talking, you see their face, you know what they're dealing with. But sometimes emails can be quite direct. It might go the wrong way.
Oh yeah, like they might say, I need this thing by 5 p.m.
right now.
Yeah.
And like you could, like, if you're in a bad mood or something, or you could say like I need this important, like that type of, in your head you could like think like you didn't even say please. Like, or
Yeah.
like you could go like really
Yeah.
like.
Plus, also, if the person who's being asked might be in a bad mood as well, so you might just compound. Whereas in real life, I might just look at you and be like, "I need it by 5 p.m."
Hey,
Like,
hey,
but
yeah,
yeah, but I do really need it. Like,
yeah,
we'll give each other like a bit of a like smirk or a smile, and you'd be like,
yeah, and that makes a big difference. Like, because like um there's like there was like some people like are too direct like by email, and like and like I have like like I had one or two emails. It's like it's like really like I'm normally like easy way girly, but like there's one or two emails where I've got like after 3 years. So
"Yeah,
it's like really
that's right."
like I maybe in my head I might be on a bad mood, or might be, or he was just like, or they were just direct. It's just like no. Just like that, like, and also like but again like sometimes the person is not trying to be rude. He's just direct, and
Yeah.
like he's sending sometimes like I always I like sending my emails with like, hi, how are you,
Yeah,
like hope
same
you're
here.
doing and then like and then like it's like and then finish the email, if you need anything else I'm happy to help, or
Yeah.
just
Thanks in advance, blah
yeah
blah blah, that sort of stuff.
like like you know a lot of that is not like bull. Like
It
you
is.
just you put that in like most emails. However, that makes you feel better. Like when you're reading something and it's like, how are you? Like they actually care. Like
Oh yeah. Compared to no hi, no regard, just like I need document 5 p.m. send ASAP.
yeah, that's just automatically like really like
Yeah, you
but
start
they
thinking, what an a hole that they're asking me
yeah it's
this
like
by 5 p.m.
and like and then like the other person will respond, oh oh yeah I'm okay thanks, hope you're okay as well, and like and it just starts off a nice way. uh, so yes, like there's a tendency I some people will like say that sometimes it's not very professional to say, oh have a nice weekend. Like some people are very strict in the emails that you
Yeah,
have to follow a strict pattern.
I
um
don't agree with that, but yeah,
yes, like
but I know some people are.
I do it. I don't think my manager does. I would say my manager is very professional in her emails, so she won't say anything like if it's on a Friday that and hope you have a good hope you have a good weekend, and like some people would be like say that that's too casual. Like, and there's other people which will put a smiley face on the
Oh yeah,
email, like um
I'll probably be the person that puts a meme on there, like a GIF on there, and the manager will be like, "What are you doing?" I'll be like, "What are you calling?"
yeah,
Like he's the director,
like
cheering up.
I know there was one person which like every face, like she was like the giggliest like happiest person we ever known, and then every email she used to finish with like a smiley face, but at the same time, but it's different people. Like I like that. However, like other people say that's not professional. You can't just don't put a smiley face in the end of the email.
They get a bit too.
It's like yeah, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, help or hurt. It's just her. It's just that individual. It's just like mm, you could argue the way you do your emails, they might not like.
Yeah, like I personally like that. Like a little bit of like their personality in the email. Like because like sometimes when you're too professional, it feels soulless. Like yeah, it's just there. Like and thing is, most of my work is through emails. So like your communication has to be done in a way that like you're showing some emotions.
Yeah,
And and I can say like in sometimes like maybe like I when you look back, it's like maybe I didn't do the emotion I should have. Like I sometimes get like, for example, like I get a lot loads of exceptional circumstances, loads of situations, and like use like sometimes like when I have a lot of work to do, I count that as like maybe like I like another something to do, and
yeah,
then put it in the back. So I quickly do it and the thing. But then you look back, it's like that person's actually having some issues.
yeah,
Like, do you, like I should maybe talk to them and do it, or instead of like just talking, just taking as like just do the work. In terms of the work would be get the situation, exception circumstances, take it to a board. The board will decide the fixed answer, and then if it's accepted or not, and then we come back to the student. However, like, or you could like spend extra time and then actually check, is the student okay.
Yeah.
So it's tech, like, it's the things we do have a team for that, which actually looks at the students' health. Can you stop music?
Yep. I'll just mute it.
It's okay. So pretty much, yeah. So like, so that's pretty much it. It's like, I do think I would recommend. I think the biggest thing I would recommend is like, if you can, it's actually quite difficult to get into the apprenticeship, because it's lot of people come to us and say, "Hi, I want to join the degree apprenticeship," and like, so are you gonna find me the job? Like, no. Like, I'm not.
Are you gonna find me the job?
Like, I'm not joking. Like, so many like people come to students come to us. It's like, I really wanted to do a degree apprenticeship. Like,
What, regular students come?
yeah, normal students. Like
How do they know that? Because I know.
no,
I
like
never-
not normal students. Means like people who haven't gone to university yet.
Okay.
So it would be like people who finish A levels, who's like doesn't have a thing. It's like, or doesn't have a thing.
But how do they hear about this? Because this is
We market it.
this is kind of new to me in terms of I knew companies did training for student for their employees, but like to this scale and what it is, it's kind of new to me.
It's big. Keep in mind there's billions of pounds in it.
How much? Like obviously, I'm not saying you necessarily know, but what percentage would you say of a university is your type of students versus what we were, regular students?
Um,
10% your type? Or do you think that's too high?
I would say 10%, a little bit lower than 10%. But like, but the thing is, like, we're growing heavily, because the demand for it is very high. Because why would because degree apprenticeships, especially degree apprenticeships, because that's the future. Because work-based programs is great, but that's very niche.
Yeah.
In terms of like work-based programs are great, but like imagine every major company who has got a certain level of like payroll, like and pretty much every big company you can think of will be in that list. It's not that high to get there. Like, will have to put 5% of the amount of their payroll into a pot that the government keeps. Uh, that's into billions. That's
for sure.
That's crazy amount of money, and a lot of universities want that deal. Like if you have a relationship with one of the major companies, that's like for 10 years, that's tens of millions of pounds over the years. So that's
potentially more.
yeah, it's way more. Like, so, and also the reputation you're working with.
You're working with Virgin, you're working with Apple, you're working with whatever the company is. It's like a badge of honor saying, our university works with da 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 da. And you do hear that universities bragging, and I'm guessing some of what they say working with is your type of degrees.
And the thing is, like, we're actually advertising heavily, and it's actually hard competition.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because every university wants these deals, because because they're worth a lot of money. Like,
oh yeah.
And if we get, and the fact is, once you get the company, they normally don't go too easily.
No, yes.
Unless you really mess up.
Oh yeah, but it's just recurring students. Do you ever have? Because you were saying you have specific courses, sometimes creative for some of the big companies, but the ones that don't want specific courses, that just want like an off-the-shelf course, do you ever have those employees, students mixed in with the regular students, or is it always a separate?
Always a separate group, even if it's like actually
the exact same degree.
That actually happens. There's actually one which is exact same degree.
Yeah.
But we teach them separately, because normally the one which is normal students are done more on campus, more lessons on campus, more activities on campus, while the ones which are done for companies are more online. are done
What even before Corona?
even before Corona.
Oh, okay. So that was, and is that mainly
in mind-
because
Keep in mind,
they're
they're working.
working and they got families potentially, and they might not be local as well?
Yeah, because keep in mind, like normal programs, your full time work is uni.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you move there. You're usually 5-10 minutes away, and that's it. Whereas I'm guessing you probably have some students where they're at, if they're at a big company, they're at some office that's not nearby.
Yeah, like we've had people like from Scotland, like
Jesus, that's far.
but keep in mind, degree apprenticeship is only available for UK students.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, let's be very clear. Degree apprenticeship is available in each of the countries. So, like, we can take people from England. Scotland has their own degree apprenticeship system.
Okay.
So anybody from England is in the CAP system. So and then Wales has their own system as well.
They always do.
So like it's pretty much the same, it's exact similar, but like a different thing. But like that's the thing. It's like if they're working like for example, one of our most on campus would have been like let's say 8 weeks a year.
Okay.
So 8 weeks a year. Rest of the time, the student is working in the company.
That's only 2 months still. It's not that
Yeah,
much.
so it's not that much, and rest of the time is being taught online. So they're getting taught throughout the year,
Yeah.
but they're getting taught online. So that's what I'm saying, is quite a little harder because they're actually going to work in the morning, and then they get certain times where they have to look at things.
Certain assignments.
Yeah. So this is why it's a little harder. However, I would recommend it's if you can. Degree apprenticeship is the best thing which you could happen to a student, because yes, there's only disadvantage I would say is that you might not get the university experience, like partying. You might
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessarily 100% a bad thing. That's just more like it would be nice to have the university experience, but in terms of long term career progress,
however, at the same time, like you most likely go to university once, and like that youth experience, like going partying. I know, like it not for everybody, but
yeah, because I didn't go partying, but it was still a certain experience. Like even if I was at home playing games, or maybe with a couple of mates playing games, or going out for some food, it was still an experience that I don't do now.
Also, university is normally also a great way for independence. The university is also the first time a person goes away from their house and actually learns to live on their own, and actually gets money from the grants and things where they actually budget.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time in their life they sometimes they actually have to budget money.
I think we need to teach our students better on financial literacy and how to budget. But you're right that it is the first time that they're given hundreds of sometimes thousands, and I'm sure when you was there, I remember students that were like, they're at the end of the week and they're like, I've only got a £2 left to last the entire weekend. Luckily, I was never in that situation, but I remember people talking about it.
I didn't get the grant. I earned too much.
Oh yeah. But obviously, you'd rather be that situation than not.
Yeah.
I remember getting a scholarship.
However, it is different having your own money compared to your family.
Yeah, but it's
still better.
It's still overall a lot, but I know the actual experience, the feeling is different. It's like your money. I remember I got a scholarship as well. It's different unis do different scholarships. Steve got the same one, £1,700 a year.
Yeah, and to be fair, like a lot of universities actually gives you, like, if you want to do your bachelor's and then you want to carry on with your master's, they give you a discount on your master's if you carry on with the same university.
Yeah, obviously mine won't apply anymore because I think it was if you start within like 2 years of graduating your bachelor's, I think it was 50% off.
50% off.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was at least 50. It was like a big chunk was just gone. I was like, that's because considering a 1 year master's at the time was 10 grand.
I thought
£5 grand.
I think ours was like maybe maybe £500,000 off in like the thing, which is not a huge amount.
500,000?
No, 500 to 1,000.
Oh, it's a 500,000. I was like, how much is the actual master's costing?
But to be fair, masters is like the most variety. Some masters are like not too expensive.
Yeah.
Some other masters are crazy expensive. Like.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so it's pretty much thing. But I do recommend if we do end this is that I saying that
A wrap up, yeah.
is that I would still recommend going to a degree apprenticeship. It is the future most likely because like the government is sticking to this levy fund.
Can you get onto one of those degree
This is
apprenticeships
this is
without having a job in a company? Like you can't apply for
No.
because you can apply for a degree.
You could go for a you could go for a company that you want to go for, and then through the company you can actually out. You don't 100% need the company to pay for you. You don't have to get the company to pay for you. You could potentially pay for it yourself, potentially, but not. Pretty much all our students are paid for the company. However, you have because work-based programs,
Yeah.
you get pensions. They're all work-based programs. You cannot actually go to them without actually having a job because most of it is designed so you work on the side.
Yeah.
So a lot of the projects are relating to what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Like normally, like people like wonder like, oh, like what project am I going to do? What am my destination going to do? They're based around what you're doing. So lately is relating to your job, and that you have to research, you have to build on it.
Yeah.
How to actually one of the biggest things is like, this is your job. How can you actually make it better for your company? How can you improve it for your company?
And you can apply the experience, I'm guessing, especially if somebody that's worked for 5-10 years and now is doing one of these degree apprenticeships, they can apply it.
Yeah. Only issue which you can say is where like companies will have hundreds of students. It's like hundreds of students like trying to find projects in a company at the same time.
Oh yeah, because when you're like when I went to uni, it was you had a list of finding your projects that you could do, and then they gave you the option to make your own, and then as long as they approved it, which they did with mine, you could do that. Whereas if it's at a company, like you said, they ideally want you to spend that time and money improving their company. So, like say if there's 2 people, then it's fine. The hundreds.
Yeah, like a lot of companies actually give you projects. So they actually were like, oh,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
oh, I want to actually do this, but I don't
Yeah.
really want to do
Yeah.
it. So what did you do?
Some sort of, let's say maybe R&D thing that they're like, it would be nice to check out, but it's hard to warrant spending 2 years on it. But if we're gonna pay for a degree, check it out.
Yeah.
If it works out, we'll get the benefit. If it don't, then
See, that's what happens. And like a lot of few people like improve the company a lot, and that's another way the company gets improved because like people actually look into your company how they can improve and show research and potentially do a project around how to do things. So and that also gives like, and if it becomes successful, you the student will be recognized and the company like, oh, if you've done something for your company which actually increase the progression, like have actually changed the company for the better, and you get recognized. But at the same time, but that also causes issues with like we work with companies which are military based, and other companies are very sensitive with data. So
I can imagine.
So if you're doing a project about a project with companies which are very sensitive, it's very restrictive, and you have to sign a lot of like non-disclosure NDAs. So like and also those companies have a lot of softwares which are blocked. Lot of softwares like even Internet Explorer, which you think every computer could have. No, like
because of security.
Yeah, security.
Or so, like old versions, or I'm guessing. Do you have any of them where YouTube is blocked?
To be fair, we don't really ask people to use YouTube, so
no,
like, but like they most likely would be.
Yeah, like, no, you might not ask them, but if let's say they're doing a programming degree, you're for sure going to hit YouTube.
The problem is some of the companies, you have to tell them what software they need to have, if they need to have in the computers and things, 6 months before, because they need to get the IT team to actually regulate it and then like then purchase it. But purchasing it, they can't just purchase it like normally. They have to go through so many steps.
Oh yeah.
And then have to make sure. And even then, some people like even Blackboard. Do you know Blackboard?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Blackboard. So
uni.
Yeah, which is like the whole all the teaching is done through Blackboard. Yeah. It's blocked with some companies. It's like so. If you don't have Blackboard, like the only way they can do it is that use their personal computer. Yeah. But
you can't be on their networks.
And like then they can't work when they're in the office. And even then, if they can go home and work, that means they have to watch a lot of things not live. Even if they have to
Oh
do
yeah.
that, the fact is, like, some people don't have laptops and computers anymore. They only
No.
do the work computer. Like, I only have my work computer right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Some people only have tablets.
yeah, like, so,
I bet there's some people that only have their smartphone.
and this one company which only gives everybody like Apple products, but the software we need it doesn't support it by
You
Apple.
see, it's Windows.
So
Yeah.
like, so it's these type of things where we don't have to deal with normal students, which we have to deal with companies, because each company is very different. So, but I do recommend that degree apprenticeships is the best way for students to go forward, because first thing, first thing for most lot of students, because first thing, you have no debt.
That's a big one.
The and you literally work, you literally get like a program which is designed by companies, and it's all of the programs have been designed by companies in the fields,
It's
so
relevant.
it's relevant. So and you're gonna get you're actually work, even if you don't stay with the company, you have 3 years of work experience. Most people, when they leave uni, it's like, and they go to the first interview, it's like, how many years of work experience do you have? And you'll be like, none, this is my first job. It's like, no, like, I need at least 2 years or 3 years of work
Even
experience.
for juniors, there's some people. I remember because I do some coding live streams, and there was one guy on there. He was saying he was going for some apprentice roles, and there was some of them were asking for extensive experience, and he was like, "It's an apprentice role.
Yeah,
It's like I'm basically going as a junior, and you want experience, like a lot of it as well. So it's obviously, yeah. So there's definitely advantages to that.
but
Eh,
like, yeah, that's, I was just end with like, just by saying that, like, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Like, there's advantage and disadvantage of both situations.
Yeah.
Like, I personally for me would be, I think the university experience is quite good in terms of, it's a once in a lifetime situation, but most likely it's you're young, you just
Yeah.
you go have fun, have some independence, yeah, and at the same time you learn on the side. Or you can go with the degree apprenticeship side, which is very popular, where you get no debt in the end of the day, and you have several years of work experience, which is, you don't understand how important that is. So, because like, even in normal programs you should at least do placement, because then it gives you 1 year of work experience.
Yeah, I saw
Because
it.
without placement, getting a job in the now is very hard, because
Did you do placement?
no,
Yeah.
but I wish I did. But again, when I did my masters, I worked in a company to do my
Oh
final
yeah,
project.
you did a master's on your fault. Forgot
Yeah.
about that.
So that's why I say, like, degree apprenticeships, you have no debt. You get to work with a company. You have many years of work experience, and when you finish, that company is gonna hire you. Just like, imagine how lucky you are, because a lot of the students, normal students, will be finishing uni, and they'll be like, at this time with the
What do I do?
COVID situation, they'll be looking around and saying, what company is hiring, and is it the right time, and what experience do I need? While like our students, like my students, which are actually, they don't have to worry. They unless unless the company has been affected very badly by COVID,
Yeah,
but or the industry has been very affected by COVID,
that's
which
just
like,
in general.
yeah,
So that,
which you can't really go against, because if you go
no.
into the field and the field has been affected by COVID, then you would have been affected anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, some of my companies have been affected by COVID more than others. Some of the companies have benefited, you could say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, others have actually gone very, like, for the airspace, that's been affected badly, because like a lot of the ones which are like, are also like, potentially some of the ones which are, some of the ones which have been affected, like in the tourism industry, hotel industry, they have been affected quite badly. And
Yeah.
like,
Hotel industry as well.
yeah, like, so they've been affected badly. However, certain industries like, power industry and things, they haven't really seen a difference. They're
Certain
like,
technology
yeah, like,
industries, the best streaming, or I'll be certain industries that make certain equipment like keyboards, mice,
this is
monitors.
to be fair, from to be fair, from our universe, we don't really have a lot of hugely tech companies.
Yeah.
We have a lot of like, software development companies,
Yeah.
but like, not like social media and things. We don't have
No,
that.
yeah.
We don't have that. We would love to have that
Yeah. Go and chill
eventually.
at Facebook or
Um,
Twitter.
but like yeah, because but the thing is, the university understands this is an amazing thing. University even looking at CPD, which is like individual modules selling to companies. So like these are huge opportunity, and the university is looking more and more like not just students and actually going towards companies.
Yeah.
Because like why should because we could train, because instead of why shouldn't we train what the for the companies then.
Okay, then so yeah, we'll wrap up. Really appreciate you coming on the podcast, Addy. So what was your role again? What was that four-word
Okay,
role?
yeah. So it's professional engineering programs officer. So I pretty much manage the work-based programs.
Okay, so that's cool. So this has been episode 4 of the Just Average People podcast. We've just hit over the 2 hour mark,
Wow.
and obviously it's only episode 4, but it's been the longest one by far. It's like the length of episode 1 and 2. And I remember you were saying initially, I think you was concerned about like what will we talk about, and this was
Yeah.
just guest introduction.
This needs to be edited.
Yeah, this literally was just guest introduction.
Yeah.
There was no talking. Obviously, as a side stuff, we started talking about other topics, but we didn't talk about any other topics that I wanted to talk about, like crypto or
Yeah.
economy or politics. But I'll get you on there, and we'll talk about them very soon.
I can't believe I talked like 2 hours about my work.
Yeah, it's good though. Do you want to say bye?
Okay. Thanks for listening, and bye then.
Bye bye.